That means also this fish, probably this is the fourth day. So fourth day start breaking down, and then you need to look at the gills. The gills still nice and red. This is the first part, deteriorate the gills, because have lots of blood clots, and the blood clots have lots of acid in them, so they turn gray rather fast. And above all, you can take a look at the eye. See, it's not cloudy, it's bright. So that's also a good sign of freshness. And the first giveaway, if it smells bad, then it's old. So you can't really use it, okay? So try just to, again, should be kept on ice completely. Most of the fish, when it's fresh, is covered with a slippery kind of a substance. It's like a mucus substance, and that's to protect the fish from breaking down. Okay, I'm just wiping it down, because sometimes when you try to fillet it as such, it becomes rather slippery. This one is being gutted. If you look over here, see it's nice and red, and after you fish, immediately you have to gut them. You can't leave them, because that will cause the freezer burn. Freezer burn, that means all the acid in the belly, it will start breaking down the flesh, and the moment they fish them, they have to gut them right away. Okay, and that's most of the shape that you get in the market. Okay, so I'm gonna start here, right here, till you feel like you're hitting the bone, right there. Some chefs, they want to start here, but I like to start here so I can save as much as I can out of the meat. And you see some of the scale coming into your knife. Make sure that, again, you clean it. You don't want to have the scale going into the flesh, okay? So this is here, and make sure this is completely, and then I'm going to go right on the top of the backbone, and you can actually hear a little bit of cracking of the bin bones. But you notice my knife, it doesn't have the same width as the width of the salmon. So you always have to make sure that you're using the proper size knife, because if I do that with here, then it's going to penetrate here, and you're going to be wasting so much of the flesh. Okay, so we'll take these out. Also, you don't need to press left too much of the meat, otherwise it starts breaking down. Again, here we are. You can hear that cracking, right? Yes. Okay, that's again the bin bone. I'm almost using the slow motion. Okay. Again, without too much pressure. And here we are. Again, scale, clean it, and you want to use both hands when you take them out. Okay, see here, straight. So I will take this to the moment here, and then we'll work on that. Again, clean up, make sure there is no scale on your board, and then we will get that right here. Okay, lots of chefs, they will cut this part completely, because this is the fatty part. I mean, in Japanese restaurant, this is a good part to use. You can use it for sashimi, or you can grill it. But most of the chefs, they will cut that part here and use it for a staff meal. Okay. I like to save as much as I can. And also, if it gets old, didn't become too fishy because of the amount of fat that's in it. Okay. Over here, there is some cartilage. If you see that, right? Yes. So it's a good idea that you just insert your knife underneath here, and you can just gently take some of that cartilage out. Okay, because you don't want to bite on those. Doesn't have a good texture into it. Okay, so this is the cartilage. Now we can come back here and we're going to trim it, take all these bones using stroke. Again, I'm trying not to take too much out of the flesh. But also you don't want to leave too much in. So this is all going to be taken out. Some of you will say, can I use it for stock? Again, rather fatty. Unless you want to use it right away, then you can use it. Now, this again, a little bit of fat here. We don't want that in there. Take those here. So this is all ready. Now the bin bones. When you go like this here and feel them, they're up to right here. So I think I have a tweezer. Yeah, I can't leave home without tweezer. So you want to pull them this direction, okay? You don't want to take them this direction because that will destroy the flesh. You want to go with the grain. When you said to your customer it's a boneless fish, that means supposed to be boneless. So when you see a bone like this, some people can choke on those, and then it's going to be your responsibility. So you got to make sure all that have been taken care. Again, try not to dig too much into the flesh.
Where do you get your tweezer, Chef?
The tweezer, you can get it, I was going to say the dollar store. No, the dollar store doesn't have that tweezer. Any Oriental store, I get it from Diablo Oriental Food in Walnut Creek or North Main. I had plenty of those, but again, my students like them. And that's why now I sleep with it. I mean, last night I had to put it in my pocket and just like take a nap, and here we are. So I don't want to come to your class and I don't have my tweezer with me. Here we are. So this is all being taken out. So it's completely boneless. Now we need to skin it. Here. Okay. So when you are skinning, you can come over here, Heather. So when you're skinning the fish, I try to bring it right to the end of the table, because if you want to put it here, again, your knife is like this, it's not even. So you want your knife to be even.
I know.
You bad
Maybe, no. I know. Maybe always want to take my tweezer. Did you see that part of the salmon? A little bit in a bluish color and has a little bit of more connective tissue. This is all muscles because the tail moves more than any other part of the fish. That means this part here will be very tough to serve, especially about right here. So we'll go right here and cut. And that will give me a little bit of the leverage. And then again, we'll go down. So motion, you don't have to lift, and you just can bring it here. I'm taking also some of the blood clots in the back. I'll show you what I'm talking about in a moment. Here we are. Okay. So this is all blood clots. That's where all that fishy flavor, all fat and blood. So I try to take as much as I can out of that. Okay. Now let's say I want to portion this into 4.5 ounces of salmon. For most of you, you always want to cut cross and become long. You cannot handle it and breaks down. So let's say, for example, 4 ounces, okay? On this here, 4 ounces, no problem. Now when I get here, it becomes a little bit too long. And that's where I have to cut it in the center. So it will offer also a much better presentation. See, 4 ounces and and 4 ounces. And I know some of you, oh, it's small. Well, for the price, it is not small. Now we have 2 here. One rather thick, and this one is thinner. It's a good idea if you start weighing out the portion, and then you practice till you get the proper consistency. Let's say, again, I mark him first. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, because here thinner. And then I will cut the first portion, put it on a scale, see if it's 4.5 ounces, that means my cuts are good, and then I can continue. So I don't have to weigh out each portion. You guys follow?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll cut them. Let's say, again, 4 ounces. So you can make an adjustment, and you notice I'm cutting a little bit on a bias. So you extend in the cut, so it will cook rather faster. Again, 4 ounces. Here, a little bit thick, so you might want to just extend it. Yeah, thank you. And then the last 2, you're trying to salvage, so you're trying just to maneuver it a little bit, so you don't lose anything. 4.5 ounces. This is correct?
No.
No.
He's probably not in the
No,
mold, is it?
it's not. No,
Tear.
it's
Not 0?
no, it's not.
Just go tear.
Let's go to 0. See, between 4, 4.5, 4.2. And that's what you need to do, okay?
Pretty good. 4.2.
I didn't want to
He's a
show
chef.
off, that's why I didn't want you to bring this here.
Don't call him chef for no
Some of
reason.
you, he's a show off, no.
I can see.
Okay, again, 4 ounces, 4 ounces. Well, I done it once before, so I know.
Yes, he did.
Okay, at least. So again, when it's thick like that, again, go a little bit down this way, extend them. Then you can salvage that last piece. So just when you do that little incision, you can always make an adjustment. So you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. If you think that you're gonna get 6 pieces and a little bit, you might wanna just extend that a little bit more to use every part. Okay? So this here. Again, that should be on ice all the time. And sometimes we put them on ice one day, of course, melt overnight, so you need to put a fresh ice on there. Yeah.